How's it going, everyone? This is Matt from Spark, and today we're going to walk through the process of installing a rear rack. This bike is in production now, and the customer is asking us to install this, so we figured we'd make a quick video just to show you how we do it. But the important thing to know is this is not going to be an easy process. I'd probably say it's like a medium level difficulty and will require about a half hour to hour to install it. The reason it's difficult is every Bandit frame is slightly different. They are hand welded, and so there are a couple points on there that are a little different. We're talking like a millimeter, and that can be a little bit of a complication when we go to install this. The way we overcome it is a series of clamps that we put on the back, and we can use those to kind of adapt to the frame to make sure this thing is really secure when it's on there. You know, we actually added a whole bunch of different mounting points onto this, so you can just bolt stuff to this and it will handle it. But anyway, let's get into it. The first step is going to be removing this seat. All right, so I got my 10 millimeter. I would say if you can, try to find an extension and then obviously your ratchet wrench. We can put this all together and that will give you a little bit more reach when you're trying to get underneath that seat. All right, so this last nut, make sure you put these in a place where you're not going to lose them. And now we can pull up on the seat and remove it. All right, so now that we have the seat off, we're going to start installing these clamps. Now, if you took a look earlier, you would have seen that the clamps most likely arrived on the actual rack itself. Well, we're going to take them off and we're going to install them one by one. The one on this side, where the derailleur is, you want to use both of the rubber inserts that came with it. And you're going to want to put it on this downward angle and have the head of the bolt on the outside. You don't want to tighten this thing down crazy. You want to be able to move it back and forth because as we continue through the procedure, you want to be able to move things. So that's the easy one. The other side is the difficult one. This side is difficult because this entire cable cluster right here, this is where we have lights going through, you have the horn wiring going through, all these different things, and it creates a problem when we go to put this clamp on. There is a little welded on piece here that is different bike to bike, and it creates a really difficult situation when we go and put this clamp on. So the one on the derailleur side, you put both of those rubber pieces on. This side, you only use one rubber piece. Here's just a closer look. You can see there's no rubber on this side. There is rubber on this side. If you want, you could put like a little piece of weather stripping in there or even like electrical tape if you're worried about damaging your frame. But we're not going to tighten this down too crazy, so we're not very worried about it. But this is the most difficult part right here, is kind of pulling this wire down and avoiding that mount. That mount is going to make life very difficult. Okay, so brackets are on, and now what we're going to have to do is put this thing on, but before we actually slide it on, we have to be aware of these turn signals. On the newer Bandits, you could just unplug them and feed them through the hole and make your life really, really easy. But on the older Bandits, I'm saying probably spring 2022 and older, that plug does not fit through the bracket. And so you're not gonna be able to pull it through. It's basically feed them through like this. That's feeding through the second furthest hole. You can kind of rotate your back brackets out of the way a little bit. And then push it as far back as you can. And what you're going to want to do is look at where the hole lines up for the turn signal and make sure that you can push it through. You can see mine is kind of the extreme, right? It's as far to this side as it can be. Sometimes the turn signal is going to be farther up, and sometimes it's going to be perfectly in the middle. All you want to do is make sure that that turn signal can go through and be visible from the back. If you're having difficulty trying to get this thing far enough back so that the turn signal can actually go into its bracket, what you want to do is hold either side of the rack and kind of pull it outward a little bit. There is a right angle bend to this thing, and sometimes it can make it easier to kind of bend it out a little bit. And what that does is allows you to line up with the frame in the front a little bit better, and that can give you that, 1/16 or 1/8 of an inch. Now that we got the turn signals lined up, you're going to want to rotate your clamps here so that they will line up these mounting holes. This is where it's key that you left this a little bit loose so that you can kind of muscle this thing into this position. Get it on. So we have both brackets on. They are still loose. Turn signals are fitting. Now we are going to put the seat on this guy, and you can look down and see I have pretty good alignment for the 2 seat bolts to go through. So now all I got to do, take my seat and pop it on. Okay, so we have the seat on, turn signals are sticking through, and these brackets are on. All we got to do now is go piece by piece and tighten everything down. All right, everyone, I hope that was helpful. The rear rack has been awesome. You guys have been loving this thing. It's able to carry so much weight, but you know, it is a little bit difficult to install, so we understand. If you get stuck, you can always send us an email, info@sparkcycleworks.com, or you can give us a call Monday through Friday, 800-557-9598, and we will do our best to walk you through this process. But we hope that video was helpful, and can't wait to see more of these on the road.